Hi everyone, welcome back to the Fitness Philosopher podcast. As always, it is me, your host, Adam Fisher. So today what we're going to be talking about is community in gyms, community in fitness. I think community is one of the biggest drivers when it comes to people actually being successful, seeing results. And I think that one of the main reasons that many traditional gyms fail in terms of gathering, really interested, engaged members, and one of the reasons why they often don't succeed at keeping people interested and getting people the results that they're looking for is because they aren't trying to foster a community. This one is going to be a little bit different from a lot of the other podcasts that I've done before because I am not working off notes this time. This is not going to be something that I've thought out a bunch ahead of time. I am in the process of writing a book. So I'm in the process of writing a book that I've tentatively entitled Escape the Gym, your handbook for outsmarting the fitness industry. So it's going to be a lot about sort of myth busting, sort of explaining a lot of the issues that we have in the industry and how you can get around them in the easiest possible way so that you don't have to fall into that stuff yourself. And so this is a chapter that I've been working on recently, and that's one of the reasons that I haven't been able to make a podcast in so long. I have not been able to put out a podcast in about a month because I've just been very busy with work. I work about 50 hours per week, plus I have, of course, my online coaching stuff to do as well, about 5 to 10 hours per week. So with all of that and, just normal social stuff, I really haven't had much of any time to get anything done. A couple weeks ago, I made a plan where I was going to sit down and try and pound out as much of the book as I could in a weekend. So I cleared up a whole weekend, and I spent about a day and a half, and I wrote about 15,000 words as a result of that. And that's about, about 30 pages, 25 pages, I think. I've added to it since then. But the problem is that I just haven't had much of an opportunity to work on it since then. I just haven't had the time. So I'm working on the book as much as I can, but in the meantime, I'm going to have to be a little bit less frequent with the podcast, a little bit less frequent with my other content, simply because I just don't have the time. I'm really focused on this big project. I'm putting in a couple hours a night here and there when I can. I'm going to be taking off another weekend after the holidays to, pound out another probably third of the book or so. But in the meantime, I'm terribly busy. So I wanted to make this podcast sort of tie into the content that will be going into that book. And so I recently wrote a chapter, and this chapter is about gyms and about communities. And so I figured, why not? I will make a podcast about that as well, so you guys can get a teaser about the sort of content that you're going to see in the book, and also so that I can work through these thoughts, a little bit more fully than I might have had a chance to in the book. Give me a little more chance to muddle over this, so that I can make sure that I've got my thoughts in order. So I may need to edit this episode a little bit more, who knows, but I will be just sort of going through my thoughts here right now, and hopefully it won't be a complete jumbled mess. So, as I said, I think communities are the single biggest factor in people's success in the gym, because here's what happens in the traditional fitness setting. You pay for a gym membership, and you get some kind of salesperson who shows you around the gym, and they're a salesperson, that's what they are. So they get commission on, selling a membership, and they don't have any incentive to care about you after they make that membership sale. So what they're going to do is they're going to show you around the gym, they're going to hype the gym up, they're going to make the gym look cool, they're going to show you everything, they're going to maybe the gym has some kind of really short, free on-ramp program, like a free program that you can follow. Usually they'll just sort of show you how the different machines work, but they're not going to give you a good program, solid program to follow to get your results. You're not going to have access to a trainer unless, of course, you're paying for one, which many people can't afford to. And basically, the minute that you've signed that paper and you've made that payment, the traditional model is that that's it. You're on your own. And the problem with that is that so many people don't know what they're doing. They really don't. They walk into the gym because they want to get in shape, but they realize very quickly that they don't know what they're doing. They feel out of place. They feel like everyone there is in better shape than them. They feel like they just don't belong. and they struggle it out. That's why so many people turn to treadmills and cardio, because it's so easy in comparison. It's a lot easier to hop on a treadmill and run for an hour than it is to try and figure out how to learn to use weights, and probably look like an idiot in the process. And we all know, of course, that nowadays everyone's waiting with their cell phone to capture anything that you do that looks even the slightest bit silly, so they can put it on YouTube and laugh at you. And of course, that's dumb. We don't. That's bad. We don't like that. So the vast majority of people purchase a gym membership and then they don't use it. They really don't. They never come back, and that's a huge problem. People aren't interested in working out at gyms, and that's partly a personal motivation issue. But it's not entirely that, because the thing is that if you create a community, then people become engaged without having to worry about motivation or anything like that on their own. So what is a community? How does a community develop? Well, again, the typical fitness industry model is that you just build a gym and you fill it with equipment and you sell memberships, and that's it. You don't care about community. Maybe a community develops because people are going to the gym, and maybe some people have the same interests. They start talking to each other, and then maybe they meet a few people and they go, okay, this is cool, I'm going to stay here. Or maybe they get to know the management or the salespeople or the trainers a little bit better. They have chats with them every now and then. That's a little bit of a community aspect as well. But that's not good. That's not like a good community. That's not really focusing on building a community. That's a community happening by accident rather than by design. So how do you design a community? Well, the first way that you can do it is you can create very specific management of expectations on what people are going to see when they come into the gym. So Planet Fitness. We know that Planet Fitness is doing pretty well. Particularly, they're a very cheap gym chain. You have to pay $10 or $15 a month. They oversell memberships a ton because they're so cheap. People don't have any sort of it's not that valuable, so they don't mind dropping $10 a month on whatever. Even if they're not using it, they never cancel their membership because, again, it's just $10 a month, and they always think, oh, maybe next month will be the month that I actually start working out. But Planet Fitness has a very specific set of rules that you have to follow to work out at Planet Fitness, and everyone, if you're in the fitness industry, of course, you know that set of rules. If you're not, maybe you don't, but basically these rules are designed to keep people away from the stuff that they normally associate negatively with the fitness industry. So it's no grunting, no lifting really heavy weights, no deadlifting. They have a lunk alarm that they can set off anytime anyone is potentially offensive. It's a judgment-free zone, so basically everyone is expected to be very courteous towards each other and friendly, and you can get kicked out if you're not. All of these things are ways that Planet Fitness helps create a community. Now, admittedly, it's not a very good community, and that's the reason why Planet Fitness gets mocked a lot, is because that community is aimed at sort of keeping people at a very base level of fitness and not really encouraging them to get any further, because, again, they've cut out any of the stuff that really makes fitness challenging or capable of actually producing changes, the changes that you're looking for, of course. And aside from that, Planet Fitness, again, functions pretty similarly to a normal gym model, which is, again, that you just sell memberships and then, people just come in and do their own thing. But, again, since it's cheap and since they have that management of expectations on exactly what you're going to see, the kind of people that you'll be working out with, they do manage to create a community in that sense. And then they have stuff like pizza nights or your cookie nights or whatever. And again, that's dumb, that's counterintuitive, but it creates a very specific population of people that go there. And if we want to look at the big success story in terms of community building, well, let's do that first. So the big success story in terms of community building is CrossFit. And I wrote an article a while back entitled "Why CrossFit is Doing the Fitness Industry Better Than the Fitness Industry," and this is one of my most viewed articles on my website, and it is basically one of the posts that I wrote that got me a lot of ire, a lot of negative attention, because in it what I said is that CrossFit is really freaking good at building community. CrossFit takes a lot of the standard fitness industry stuff and it adds community aspects to it. So they take the traditional group fitness setting where, so basically the model for CrossFit is you go in and you pay more per month. It's definitely more expensive than your standard gym. But what you are getting for that is that you are getting your hand held every step of the way. So you've got a coach telling you exactly what to do. You're doing the same workouts as everyone else. It's group training workouts, so you're working out along with everyone else. Unlike traditional group training classes where it's one coach who's just sort of standing in the front of the room and just sort of telling everyone what to do and they're sort of expected to follow, these coaches are actually hands-on. They're actually there to correct you and tell you if you're lagging behind the other people. They're there to correct you and help you figure out how to improve. All the workouts are scaled so that they're available for everyone, guys and girls. Guys are exercising along with girls. That's a huge difference. Girls are allowed to lift weights or encouraged to lift weights at CrossFit, so that's again a huge difference. It's actually CrossFit is also taking effective movements from a variety of different sports. So not only is it effective, much more effective than a lot of sort of goofy, sport-specific stuff ends up being in some cases. Like if someone just does yoga, well, that's great. Yoga is an excellent activity for, sort of low intensity, but it very quickly needs to be supplemented with stuff like weight training with cardio in order to actually start seeing physique results. So CrossFit does that. You've got your heavy compound movements, you've got your Olympic lifts, you've got your powerlifting stuff, you got your strongman stuff, you got your calisthenic stuff, you have your gymnastic stuff. All that stuff is not new, it's just being mixed together. They're taking sort of the best bits of all of that and they're putting it into one package that is fun and interesting and new. And, since you're all working out together, you're developing a sort of community, everyone is cheering each other on, they're actually developing new interest in these niche sports that they're drawing from. Olympic lifting, before CrossFit, Olympic lifting was nothing. No one cared about it. No one was doing it in the US. Now all of a sudden everyone's snatching and cleaning and jerking again. And women are doing it too, again. So the thing with CrossFit is that a lot of these CrossFit boxes, CrossFit gyms, when they develop community like that, then they have events for their members. They have barbecues, they have cookouts, they have special holiday workouts that everyone does together. They create a very specific community, and that's why they're so rabidly fanatical about just what they're doing. Like that's such a huge thing for CrossFit. Is we have this joke about how how do you know if someone does CrossFit? The answer is that they'll tell you. Well, isn't that we make fun of that, but isn't that the point? Like, aren't we supposed to be trying to get people so excited about working out that they will tell other people to come with them and do it with them? That's exactly what we want, actually. And we shouldn't be making fun of that. We should be valuing that. We should be encouraging that. And so CrossFit, I would say, is the greatest success story for community building in gyms in modern times. And another interesting thing that's happened is that now that we have the internet, we're developing communities, internet communities, electronic communities, typically around specific fitness figures. So, you might have YouTube personalities, you might have podcasts, you might have Instagram accounts or Facebook pages. People are developing these fitness brands online, and then people get to hang out and chat and sort of give feedback on this and talk to each other and stuff like that. You've also got forums like bodybuilding.com forums, the T Nation forums, Reddit and 4chan, fitness boards. Again, they're all very specific communities, but they are communities. And the great thing about those communities is that they're not tied to specific locations like a gym is. So those communities can develop. They can reach a much wider audience, and that audience can reach continually wider and keep growing because it's not limited to that location. And then those people can just go to whatever gym they want, and maybe they buy a T-shirt from someone that they like, and maybe they run into someone else who also knows the same person that they like, and then they get to talk about it. But the main thing is that they interact with people online who have the same interests in fitness or sport or whatever. So I think community is massively more helpful for getting results from people because it gets you interested. It makes you see, when other people are doing the same thing as you and they're having fun as well, it helps you have fun. If you're doing something by yourself, you're not going to have that much fun. You're not going to see that much positive reinforcement for the things that you're doing. Now, if you hire a trainer, sure, you'll have one other person. That's just one other person who is, again, giving you positive reinforcement and helping you reach your goals. When you are, for example, in a CrossFit gym, the entire gym is your friend. Everyone is there to help you. When you make a friend at a gym, that reflects really well in the gym, because if you make a friend at the gym, and that's a good friend, that's someone that you like, then you can't help but like the gym as well, because the gym is what brought you together. Yeah, and I think that's like, for example, you see something like let's say that I was at a CrossFit, and like I made friends there, and I friended them on Facebook, and you work out and you work out, and then you can't work out for a week, and suddenly you get messages from these friends saying, "Hey man, why weren't you in the gym last week? What's up? I didn't get to see you. We didn't get to chat. How you been doing?" And, like that is way more powerful than just having a trainer whose job is just to sort of annoy you and be like, "Hey man, how's your diet going? Hey man, how's your diet going? Hey man, how's your diet going?" Because that's so much more powerful. When people are actually having fun and developing communities and seeing other people have fun as well, that is, I would say, the single best thing that you can do to actually get people interested in fitness and seeing results. I think that gyms very much could be bastions of developing community, but most of them aren't. So let's take a really good example of a gym that is actually building community by a very specific brand. That's Mark Fisher Fitness in New York City. So Mark Fisher is not actually related to me, even though we have the same last name. But we are friends. I've met him at a few conferences. He's an amazing guy, great guy. So Mark is a former actor. He was, did acting for all of his 20s, and then he got really passionate about fitness, and he decided that he wanted to open a gym. So he opened a very specific kind of gym. It's a very interesting gym. They have a very specific aesthetic. They wear goofy costumes. They fool around. They have, house-made lingo for a lot of traditional fitness concepts. They decorate everything with glitter and unicorns and dildos, and they have fun. They just goof around and they don't care. And as a result, they've developed a very specific clientele. They've gotten they get a lot of actors who are looking to stay in shape, and look good, of course, while they're on screen. So Mark Fisher Fitness has been this huge success because Mark Fisher developed a very specific niche brand for the kind of people that he wanted to work with, and people reacted to that. He developed a very specific community around it. I think that the future should be more like that. I think that what we should be seeing in the future is less of these big box gyms where it's just, okay, we have the equipment, we'll sell you a membership, and then we stop caring. And it should be a lot more of CrossFit type stuff where you are not just paying to get a gym membership, you are paying to be a part of a community. Or stuff like Mark Fisher Fitness, where it's a very specific community that, like, you've got a very specific brand that is looking to reach out for a very specific set of people. And I think that would be massively more effective at actually seeing results in their members than most traditional gyms ever have. So those are really my thoughts on community. Those are my thoughts on the topic. And again, that will be one chapter in the book that I'm writing. And I hope that you would be interested in picking it up when I'm done. Again, I will not be able to make podcasts as frequently for a while. I'm probably just going to cover some more of the topics that you would see in the book. So you'll get some free snippets of what is actually in the book. But the book is going to contain a lot of resources, of course, that I'm not just going to read out here. Resources for stuff like best way to outfit your own home gym, stuff that you can do to learn everything that you need to know so that you don't really need to hire a trainer. Those are all things that I will be including in that book. So be on the lookout for that, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Hi everyone, Adam here again. I really hope that you've enjoyed this week's podcast. Here at Philosopher Warrior, I am all about body positive fitness.
To me, that means learning to be strong and healthy and happy in your body without having to worry about losing weight or fitting into societal standards of what beauty should be. If you like what I do here, I would absolutely love it if you could support me in any way possible. After all, making content is difficult, and making and editing a podcast can often take 5 or more hours just to get you guys a half hour of free content. So here are a few ways that you can do that thing. First, check out my blog at www.gains.af. That is GAINS.af, which is packed full of plenty more free posts for those of you who are more into, reading words and stuff. You can also sign up for the mailing list. This means that you're getting alerted to all the newest content as it's released. Along with that, you get a free copy of the Gains ebook, which contains a 12-week program designed to help beginners get stronger, bigger, and more durable. The book also comes with a 12-week mailing program designed to educate you on many of the basic principles underlying good training. So it's great for beginners looking to learn a lot more about how to train as well. Second thing you can do, you can purchase my ebooks, also through www.gains.af. Aside from the free Gains ebook, you can also find my first ebook, The Uplift Method, which lays out my exercise philosophy and explores what I think about mind-body exercise and how it's crucial to any good exercise program, even though I have some, pretty big criticisms of it. For those interested in fantasy stuff, I'm also a huge fantasy nerd. I have a novella about vampires that I wrote a while back, and you should check that out. It is short, it is cheap, and it is awesome. Third and last thing you can do, you can support me with a small monthly donation through the Gains Patreon at www.patreon.com/gains. You can also find that through the gains.af site. At just $1 a month, you can get a copy of the Gains ebook and access to the Gains Facebook community. At $10, you get a copy of Uplift, again, that is the Uplift Method as well. At $25, you get a t-shirt. At $60, you get access to semi-personalized group coaching. So I will be writing programs for you and a bunch of other people at the same time. You get some other stuff with that as well. At $100, you can get fully customized individual coaching. That is right. I will write your programs for you and keep on you regularly to see how it's going via email or text. So, above all, if you like the content, please share. Let people know about the good news of intersectional body positive fitness and direct them our way. You can subscribe to the podcast through iTunes. If you ever want to reach out to me, my email is ae.fisher.gains@gmail.com. If you want to hear about a particular topic, let me know. Reach out to me and I'll share what knowledge I have. Hey, guess what? You're awesome, and thank you.